Do you find yourself putting things off till tomorrow, the next day, next week? When you start making real progress against a goal, do you find yourself sabotaging your own efforts? When you're under a great deal of stress, do you find yourself kicking the dog, your family, friends, coworkers? These are all common willpower traps. Some people think that there's a magical willpower fairy that bestows willpower gift on those lucky few individuals. But willpower is actually a skill that can be learned and strengthened. Many willpower strategies are really quite simple to implement, but they often are counterintuitive and counterculture. There's a saying that success breeds success. In the world of willpower, success often breeds self-sabotage. Why is this? Our brains are constantly balancing our long-term goals and our short-term desires. Whichever one is being fed more, the other one starts to become a more urgent need. For example, imagine that you want to retire with a healthy savings account so you can really enjoy your retirement, but you simultaneously want to enjoy your life now. Over time, as your savings for retirement grow, that family vacation, cleaning service, little black dress may seem like more of a need than a luxury. There's a fabulous book called The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal, and I'd like to share some tips from there. There's a psychological concept called moral licensing. Moral licensing says that when we do something that we think that we should do, we think that we've been good and that we deserve a reward. Often, we choose a reward that sabotages a long-term goal. The good news is there's a simple solution. Remember your why. For example, when I've had a really hard work week, but I've been very productive, I often think to treat myself. The treat that I think to turn to is sweets. I learned about 10 years ago that if I eat too many sweets, I become a little emotionally unbalanced. So that would mean that indulging in that way would make sure that next week would be really rough. When I remember this, it makes it much easier to choose a reward that won't leave me suffering, like throwing on some music and dancing or going out for a hike. This all sounds very logical, but don't be fooled. Our brains are not always logical. It's been shown in repeated restaurant studies that when a healthy item gets added to the menu, the sales of the least healthy items increase. Why would this be? Our brains see the opportunity to make a good choice as actually making a good choice. And so our short-term need is less filled than our long-term goal. The corollary of this is making a to-do list and feeling great satisfaction, even though you've accomplished nothing other than making a list. The willpower strategy that's effective here is to remember or to institute a rule where what you do today, you need to do for the next 30 days. So, for example, if you decide to indulge in that piece of delicious chocolate cheesecake, then you need to have delicious chocolate cheesecake every day for the next 30 days. All of a sudden, the impact of having that slice of cheesecake becomes bigger, and it makes it easier to see and focus on your long-term goal. I'd like to share another willpower strategy that seems pretty counterintuitive. Many of us believe that we need to be hard on ourselves in order to increase our willpower. Studies, however, show exactly the opposite, that self-forgiveness is a more effective strategy. The reason for this is that when we beat ourselves up, we're more focused on feeling better than on learning from our mistakes. This book, The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal, is so chock full of highly actionable, entertaining, science-based information that I fell in love with it. I reached out to Kelly McGonigal and asked her, "Can I teach your book in a book club format?" And I was thrilled when she said yes. And so now I teach a 10-week Science of Willpower program that's a combination book club, support group, and accountability group where everyone chooses one goal to work against over these 10 weeks. And we apply this tremendous amount of information in incremental steps to find out what works for you, what doesn't. And what has been found is that people who take this course have tremendous increases in self-awareness and willpower, and they make great progress against their goals. If this sounds like something that's interesting to you, I'm going to be having a Q&A session to answer any questions people may have about this program. And you can see in the body of the blog the dates that are available for that. My next Science of Willpower program starts on April 1st, which is a Wednesday. It will be every Wednesday for 10 weeks, running from 12 to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. I'll be conducting it via Zoom so that people can either join by video chat or by phone. I'd like to leave you with one last willpower tip. The reason why I am using a group coaching format for this program instead of individual coaching is that there's another willpower strategy that when you are in a group of people that are all striving towards a similar goal, your willpower increases.